Hello, my name is Heidi Abed, and today I'm giving an overview of the natural resource in the northern Red Sea, specifically the Great Fringing Reef. Last year, in the UN climate conference held in Egypt, Sharm el-Sheikh, the Egyptian government committed to extending their protection of their Red Sea coast to create a coral reef refuge. There are currently a few different marine protected areas in the Red Sea in Egypt's territory, covering about half of the reef, and this new promise is to cover its entirety. As mentioned, this is located along the entirety of the Egyptian Red Sea coast, including the shorelines of the Sinai Peninsula, which are the Gulfs of Aqaba and Suez, as well as the Egyptian mainland along the Red Sea coast. This is also including 44 islands in that area. Now, historically, humans have lived along the Red Sea coast and lived off of its resources since the Stone Age. All the way up until the 1700s, these coastal populations remained pretty sparse due to the climate being so hot and arid, not a lot of fresh water. But the 1869 opening of the Suez Canal definitely increased the maritime trade and therefore the demographics along with it. The Red Sea coral reefs are among the richest and biodiverse and most resilient in the world. Even now, the coasts are not densely populated, but the rate is increasing rapidly. Red Sea coral reef tourism contributes over 3.5% to the Egyptian GDP. The environment of the Red Sea is unique in that it is a thermal refuge where coral have become physiologically resilient against coral bleaching that has been a huge problem in recent years for coral in much of the world. The Red Sea also has a very high salinity. This has increased the stress resilience of the coral over time. Among the living species of coral there in the Red Sea, the scleractinian, the reef-building corals, which is the base of the system, there are over 365 species of this type of coral in the Red Sea, including 19 that are only found there. These reefs also house mesophotic coral, which are like a refuge of its own because they live at such a depth that they are really away from a lot of the harms of humans' activity. In a marine zone that would otherwise be pretty nutritionally poor, the endosymbiotic dinoflagellates that are hosted by the coral really are the foundation of a very intricate food web that can host the rest of the wildlife that we're going to go into. The reef shelters thousands of fish and invertebrate species. There are 1,100 different kinds of fish, including 390 that are specifically coral species. Other species that are particularly iconic of the area are green turtle, hawksbill turtle, whale shark, coral grouper, and the sea cucumber. Now, for medicinal purposes, marine life really has huge potential that we have only begun to scratch the surface of. There are bioactive metabolites, hundreds of natural compounds isolated just from the Red Sea. These include compounds that have the properties of being cytotoxic, anti-proliferative, antiviral, and anti-inflammatory. So needless to say, there's huge medicinal potential that is yet to be discovered or researched still in these coral systems. Policy concerns of the area are definitely going to be Shipping and marine transportation. It is a huge maritime trade hotspot, as mentioned with the opening of the port of Suez. With that, oil terminals and spill hazards are a big concern. The tourism industry, which is a lot of times brought by the beauty of these corals, is also going to have to be managed properly to not harm them. Development of the area, whether it be for tourism or just for municipalities, they have their own issue of waste discharge, overfishing, fish farming, aquaculture, desalination and power plants, as well as metal mining. Now, while we did mention half of this area already has MPAs, marine protected areas, they really have a lack of enforcement, and that's going to be a concern going forward. And here are the references of the material cited in this part of the presentation. Thank you.